Again, thank you, Chairman Fleming, Ranking Member Sullivan. This is distinguished members of this committee. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about the recent National Fish Hatchery System Planning Report and the Chattahoochee National Forestry Fish Hatchery that is located in Georgia's 9th Congressional District. Such which in Georgia is a sleepy community in Union County located high up in the Appalachian Mountains. It is a rural area without any major stores or banks. One thing it does have, however, is the Chattahoochee National Fish Hatchery. Chattahoochee is a mitigation hatchery established in 1937 after the numerous dams and reservoirs disrupted the natural flow of the fish to the area. It stocks the tailwaters of multiple projects of the Army Corps of Engineers and the Tennessee Valley Authority with rainbow trout for the enjoyment of over 160,000 anglers per year. The tailwaters would be barren without this facility and the services that they provide. In fact, to be honest, I was more than surprised when I heard that the Fish and Wildlife Service was thinking of closing this hatchery. It is beloved by the community, it shows a great return on investment, and it is an economic engine of this rural part of Georgia. This hatchery is a major source of revenue for Suches and Northeast Georgia in general, having generated just over $30 million of total economic output on just an investment of $740,000. Talk about being bang for your buck. This hatchery delivers that in a big way. According to the planning report itself, since its establishment in 1871, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's National Fish Hatchery System has been a cornerstone of the service's mission of working with others to conserve, protect, and enhance fish, wildlife, plants, and their inhabitants for the continuing benefit of the American people. The American people, Mr. Chairman, yet their statement seems to be a bit at odds with their stated priorities. The Department of Fish and Wildlife has ranked its funding priorities in this report in the following order: recovery of species federally listed as threatened or endangered, restoration of imperiled aquatic species, tribal partnerships and trust responsibilities, other propagation programs for native species, and finally, other propagation programs for non-native species. Currently, more than 75% of the 291 propagation programs within the National Hatchery Systems exist within priorities 1 through 3. The first of these three make up almost 90% of the funding for the National Hatchery System. The planning report looked at 5 potential funding scenarios: level funding, an 11% reduction, 15% reduction, 24% reduction, and a 5% increase. The service has concluded that meeting or cutting level funding would require to discontinue service funding for some of the lower priority propagation programs. Please keep in mind that mitigation hatcheries fall into the categories 4 and 5, the lowest priority funding priorities. This brings up a serious question. Why should mitigation hatcheries be regarded as such a low priority program to the Fish and Wildlife Service? I believe stocking the tailwaters, streams, lakes, and rivers of America should be a higher priority. Providing our nation's anglers with the recreational enjoyment and opportunities to catch fish is an important service, particularly vital to the economic growth of Northeast Georgia. And just as a side note, it would be devastating for my district director because he spends most of his life in these trout streams, and this is something very important to him. It is important to note that the Chattahoochee Hatchery is nearly 90% reimbursed from the Army Corps of Engineers and the TVA. Why should the service choose to generate a propagation program that are being reimbursed for and that also provide real economic benefits to rural America? It is because of their bias toward the Endangered Species Act's related propagation. I recently had the privilege of serving as a member of the Chairman Hastings Endangered Species Act Working Group. My involvement with the working group only reinforced significant and growing need for Congress to look at this bias and seek solutions to address such misguided policies. In summation, I support the Chattahoochee National Fish Hatchery as it plays an integral role in the sustainability of businesses and communities in Northeast Georgia, from providing environmental education and public outreach opportunities to visitors, school groups, and various other organizations, to facilitating recreational opportunities to 160,000 anglers a year. Northeast Georgia would not be the same without this facility. I appreciate the great work this committee is doing to bring light to this issue, and I hope to continue working with this committee and its members to address Fish and Wildlife Service's bias against mitigation hatcheries. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify, Mr. Chairman. And before I quit, I would like to add a special thank you to Deborah Berger, the hatchery manager at Chattahoochee Hatchery, for her 36 years of service at that location, and congratulate her on her upcoming retirement. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.